Now let's talk about AWS EBS, Elastic Block Store. So we need storage to store the data. And we have two categories of storages, volatile storage and non-volatile storage. Volatile storage or volatile memories are those type of the storage which are there to store the data for temporary purposes, like your RAM. So if you put up any kind of a data into the RAM, and if you restart your system or shut it down, the data is going to go gone, right? It's there just only for the temporary purpose. Okay. On the other hand, you have non-volatile memory, non-volatile storage, like your SSDs, your hard disk, your pen drive, which is there to store the data for a longer period of time. So your EBS, Elastic Block Store, falls under the category of a non-volatile storage. That does not create the data that is present into the EBS, does not get tempered or does not get affected by the external factors. Like in the non-volatile storage, like your hard disk, SSDs, and the pen drive, whether your system is restarting, rebooting, or you have shut it down, the data remains intact in your hard disk. Same applies with the EBS as well, the Elastic Block Store, right? Okay, so it is like a virtual hard disk and falls under your non-volatile categories where you can store the data for a longer duration of time. So there are some of the properties we have with the EBS. The first is life of the EBS is completely independent from the life of the server. Normally, when a server is created, an EBS is also created with it in place. You can create it in isolation as well, but normally when a server is created, an EBS is also created with that. So when an EBS, Elastic Block Store, is attached to a server, and due to any kind of a reason, the server fails up, due to technical reason or any sort of a cyber attack, the life of the EBS is remain intact. The EBS, the virtual hard disk, remains intact even if the server has collapsed due to any kind of a reason. And you can take that particular EBS with the data which is in an intact position and attach and reattach to another working server, server 2. Okay, and you can access the data. So it's a fantastic feature it has. Another property of the EBS is that a server can be connected to multiple EBS, means a server can have multiple virtual hard disks attached to it up in place. That's great. But a EBS in itself cannot be attached to multiple servers. So if there are two servers, server 1 and server 2, EBS can only be attached to any one server at a given point in time. So either it could be attached to the server 1 or to the server 2, not to both of them at the same time. So if you want to connect to both the servers or multiple services, right, and want to create a common storage, for there we have another service into the AWS which is called EFS, Elastic File System, for the Linux systems. So this is, guys, we have into the EBS. Thank you, everyone.